Thank you for joining. So please introduce yourself briefly to the video audience, who you are, where you live, and what you do.
All right, my name is Santiago Vidal. I'm from Uruguay, South America, between Argentina and Brazil. I'm a pianist, composer, singer-songwriter. And where I live is hard to say. I've been moving a lot lately since the pandemic. Right now, I'm in my country, in Uruguay.
Let's talk about your song for the Songs for World Peace Initiative, your song title, and what your motivation was for you to join the initiative.
It was the first edition, and I wrote the song Fe, which is faith, and talks about faith in humanity, how I think we can make this happen, how we can get closer to that concept of peace. I wrote it in pandemic, and I thought it was a beautiful idea having to write a song about peace and to represent my country for such a beautiful topic.
That sounds beautiful. I understand about the COVID. We all went through that, but at the same time, we might have a more inspiration because of that, and we can link to the peace, of course. So I appreciate that you explained that. What does your song tell the world, and what did you want to tell the world?
It's always been hard for me to translate exactly what I say there. I wrote it in Spanish, of course, my mother language. It's about accepting each other's, accepting differences. It doesn't matter if it's religions or where you're from or any type of differences. Being able to accept that, to love each other, no matter what. That's mainly about it, trying to be conscious about the things that separate us, all the differences that have been separating us during the history of humanity. Had the same concept of not being able to accept the differences, of not being able to love each other no matter what the differences we have. So sounds very simple to understand, but it's been so hard for us to be able to apply that. We've been somehow, humanity has been growing or has been getting closer to that concept, but at the same time, it seems like last few years we've been getting not that close, and many things happening all around the world. So it's always hard for me. There was a time where I used to write songs in English. It's always hard for me to translate songs or the ideas to express them properly in another language. Yeah.
Really understand and agree with acceptance. That's all about, we all different. How we can be peaceful about, though, it's about accepting the differences and open to about it. So I really agree with that concept of the peace that you are contemplating. Also, because of technology, we seemed very close, but at the same time, it's very far. I see that gap as well. And in terms of the language, that's what we are doing. We really appreciate the mother language and we really want to implement it in the song. So what you're doing is amazing and you're all good. A little bit different aspect. Any memorable or fun or difficult moment you remember while you're working on the song or recording process?
At that time, I was living in LA, but I was visiting my country when the pandemic happened. So I did it in my country. I shot the video and recorded the song here in Uruguay. I went to a very special place with a grand piano, a very nice place to shoot the video. My brother helped me a lot on that because, again, it was still pandemic. You were not able to do many things at that time. So that was a challenge, but was very fun. Again, it was really special for me. I tried to really feel those messages and transmit all those emotions and feelings through the music and the video. It was very fun. It's always fun for me to play a grand piano. It's always fun for me to sing my songs. It's even more fun when this is the topic and the meaning for all of that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm pianist too, so I always get that about the grand piano. How did your song and your participation in the initiative positively impact you?
Representing your country is always an honor in any context, like having to represent your country. But especially on this situation, got me on a very special moment after living 10 years in the US, kind of coming back. I didn't really know I was coming back yet. I was just visiting family at that time, but then pandemic happened, all things happened, and kind of stayed here. And so that made it even more special too. It was a very special transitional moment in my life. Musicians, we tend to, especially me, I tend to spend a lot of time on melodies, and I'm like a top liner, and I like to, it's all about the music. But on this specific case, situation, it was all about the lyrics and the message I wanted to give. Seems like a easy topic, but it's not that easy to cover or to express sometimes. We probably all have something to say about it, but having to put it on a song and with the melody and the lyrics and everything, it was a challenge, but it was a beautiful one. So I tried to talk about everybody being as one, where you're from, what's your religion, what's your race, or anything, humanity as one thing, and accept each other.
Because of COVID, we've been very just far from each other. We could, get together physically like before, and then you still thought about the oneness. That is really powerful. I'm also a human being. I couldn't do that as well. So it's really hard to think about oneness at the time, right? Although negativity is around us, and but you still think about it and then compose the song. That's really powerful. How did your song or your participating in the initiative positively impacted, your friends and family, close people?
My family was they were very excited about this project because of the meaning of the project. So I think it was very powerful. As you said, it was such a special moment where the only way we could communicate to each other was through internet and videos. So in that sense, it was special, the fact that we shot this video that time and got to so many people here. I think it was not a special only for me. Again, it was special for my family, the meaning, all these people from all around the world participating made it special. And again, representing my country made it special, not for me, but also for my family and the people here in my country. So in that sense, it was special as well. It's redundant, but I'm always saying it's special, but it was really special in so many different ways. So
your song is obviously published and on the YouTube, and then we shared that song together. How did your song and your participant in initiative positively impact your community, global level?
My message was to talk to everybody, to each of us. Like sometimes we in this part of the country, I never had for the last 50 years, we never had any participation in any war, but that doesn't mean we are not all responsible or to get to the next level of evolution and to be able to get closer to that concept of peace. So I was trying in my song to include everybody, not to talk about they are doing wars in that part of the world. They are responsible. We have nothing to do. That was not the idea. The idea was to be conscious, to really be able to look to ourselves, to see each other and recognize what we do daily that we might not be able to recognize yet, but to be able to see things in us, to that discrimination, some different type of discrimination or things that do not help to get closer to that concept. I'm always a very spiritual person, and I always like to not to talk about them, but to talk about us. And in this song, that was the idea as well. Even if we might think in this country we never participate in any war, but again, we can always keep growing, keep looking at ourselves and see these things, discriminations and things that do not help to accept and live peacefully with each other. So And that's how I try to impact my community.
And I'm sure that your song have impact the world and your community so much. That's my belief, and that's what I see. So thank you so much for your contribution again. What are the challenges for you to be involved in social change as an artist? And how could the Songs for World Peace help you?
Talking about peace is not that easy, you know, like sometimes, oh, everybody talks about that, or it's not easy to cover or to get the attention when you talk about that. It was a beautiful excuse to be able to do it, like, oh, I'm doing this because I'm representing my country in this project, and so many people from all around the world doing it. It's a beautiful excuse to be able to talk about that. Sometimes I think the challenge is nowadays we have so much information on social media, everything happening. It's hard to get the attention in any way, because we are looking at 10 videos per minute or more. So people are too busy watching and listening too many things at the same time. So it was challenged. It was a challenge. This project helped me to cover a topic that we might think, oh, we've been always talking about this, but at the same time, it's like talking about love. But at the same time, we have so much things to learn about it. So we should still talk about it, think about it, and try to get closer to those concepts, to love, to peace. You know, even if there are many millions of songs or millions of people talking about it, and I think it's never enough, and it's never too late to keep growing on these things. So it was, again, I think it was a beautiful excuse, that's the word I'm using, to be able to cover these things.
I love how you describe the, see the problems, but as well as you see the potential and answer to that, solution to that. Always getting together, get together, think about it. Those things are, they seem to be like a small, but it's the opening door to that solution. So thank you for your insight. As you look around your country or surroundings and communities, or what is happening in the world in general, what issue most stand out to you, and what would be the potential impact that your music, or as a human being, can make the world a more peaceful place?
As I mentioned, I think it is very common in humanity in general to talk about them. It is easier to see things in other people than to see it in ourselves. So as a spiritual person who is trying to grow in consciousness and recognize so many things that don't let us vibrate in love and be peaceful with each other, it's always very important to look at ourselves, to recognize all these things that are easy to recognize in other people, but I have a lot of trouble to see it in ourselves. So I already mentioned this, but it's easy to talk about other countries, other issues in different people, but the only way to grow and to make a change is if we look at it ourselves and try to recognize whatever we're doing that are not helping to get closer to those concepts in ourselves. So I think that's the most important thing, might be not relevant comparing to others, but I have the feeling that we are always comparing. Oh no, this is nothing comparing to that, so we are not doing anything about this, about us. So I think it's not about comparing to other people or other countries. It's about looking at ourselves and trying to recognize, oh, this is a type of discrimination. Oh, I'm doing this. That's normal for me. I grew up on this society doing this type of things, but that's not helping to be in peace, to accept each other. And that's, I think, the most important concept: acceptance, accept differences, and not to judge, but to accept and live peacefully with the differences that we have.
I totally agree with that. Sometimes peace can be really far. we feel that way, but it's always start from inner peace, and it's really start from ourselves. What's your goal as an artist?
My goal as an artist, as a singer-songwriter, I'm doing mainly singer-songwriting right now, although I work as a pianist, as a film composer, and other things. That's been my main goal. The message is always trying to, all these concepts that I've been talking about, how I see life, how I'd like to impact others through my music and my messages. So I think that's important in Latin music. Some topics got very, very popular, and it seems sometimes like we only talk about different things that got very popular in the Latin industry, Latin music. And I like to give my different approach and different meaning, even if it's not helping my marketing or my music to grow faster. When you have to ask yourself, what's your goal? What's your main purpose on this? Not only to be here, but what you're gonna say to these people that are gonna listen to you. So that's what I try to remember every day, and that's how I try to approach my songs. What I can promote, just you can find me as Santi Vidal in every social media, on Spotify as well, YouTube, Santi Vidal. I'm releasing music almost every month. So my last song was Te Volví a Ver, and I'm singing with two other artists. One of them is a Berkeley alumni as well. So you can go check it out on Spotify, YouTube, or any social media.
Thank you, Santi, for your just storytelling and insight, perception about the piece, everything really personal, but I see that it's really also learning process for me. It was very good. So thank you again. Hope to see you again in the future.
Hope to see you soon too.
Yeah, hope to see you too.
All right. Bye. Thank you.